Burner Podcast Network presents
The Dispatch.
Hey, this is Arash. It's Burner Podcast presents The Dispatch. Quick community check-ins with our global burner community, and I am on the phone right now with Joman.
Hello, how's it going?
Going amazing. Joey Mancuso. Dude, this is such a treat because for 10 years, I've been saying your name at the end of every episode, like, hey, the opening theme music is produced by Joman.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and for 10 years, I've been thinking, man, one of these days, it's going to be great to finally connect with Joman and have an opportunity to get him on the show. And so finally, after a fucking decade, here we are.
Hell yeah.
Where am I talking to you from? Are you in Austin?
I am currently in Austin. Yeah, it is overcast and rainy, but feels great.
Yeah, you were in Denver for a long time, and then you moved to Austin.
Yeah, I spent most of my life in Denver. I was born in Aurora, grew up in Littleton, bounced around from Denver to Lakewood for a while. Came up in the Denver dance music scene at a very young age. I started producing music when I was like 13,
Wow.
using Fruity Loops, and just never stopped. And then I idolized people like BT and Tiesto and wanted to be them, and chased it heavily.
Yeah.
and got pretty far, and relocated to Austin about 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And because I had friends down here, and I love it so far. It's a wild, weird town.
It is a fucking wild weird. It's a weird place in the desert with like weird signs, you know.
Yes.
So we're into that shit. I feel like BT is probably like, if I had to guess who you'd be more into, I would have guessed BT would be more your vibe than like Tiesto.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny. Like I've been listening to BT since ESCM and IMA and Movement and Still Life, and yeah, those albums were life changing to me.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard Movement and Still Life, I was at my cousin's house, and I was, like I said, probably around 13 years old, and I was just taken aback at the complexity of the production. I'd never heard anything like that before. And this was the turn of the millennium when electronic music was still kind of in its infancy, and just the edits and the stutters and the swells and the crescendos, and like every sound was intentional and every sound was meticulous. It wasn't like pop music where they're just following the formula of the circle of fifths and using the same sounds and same disco samples as everybody else. It was refined, and it changed. It absolutely changed my life. And I just pursued it heavily after that.
Yeah, I want to momentarily geek out about BT because I rarely get to. I remember I had a friend who was friends with someone I think that like BT was dating many years ago. I could be wrong. I think this is about the connection, but I just know that what it was that he said that at some point he, like, this was like at their college dorms or something. BT was like recording the sound of this like water drop in the air conditioner that he wanted to use in a song. And he's like, what the fuck you doing? He's like, it's like the perfect sound of the water drop, and I need to record this to use it on a track.
That's so funny. That sounds about right.
Yeah. The Great Escape, though, that was my favorite song of his. I've listened to it 1,000 times. Yeah,
Great Escape is a classic. That was Emotional Technology. That's that. Yeah, I think that came out. It was like 2002. It was right after Movement and Still Life, and Force of Gravity was my personal favorite off of that one.
Oh yeah. That was with NSYNC vocalist, right?
Yeah. JC
Chazé.
I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah. So you've had like tracks released by multiple different labels.
Yes, I have. Yeah. I've had a lot of stuff on professional labels. To come full circle here, I had High Fidelity released on with Leah Luna, released on Black Hole Recordings back in 2015.
Nice.
And Black Hole has released BT, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I got to meet him a few times when I was DJing a lot in Denver. He was always really kind, and after the first 2 times he recognized me and he was like, "Hey Joey, what's up?" So that was cool.
Yeah, that's rad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like one, you're like a pretty outspoken person. Like you're opinionated. And I remember like when I was more active on social media and when you were more active on social media,
Yeah.
we didn't like hang out and talk. But I want to come back to
Mm,
like the song in a second. But like I would watch your personality there. I'm like, this guy,
yeah.
this guy is like bold and out there.
Yes, yes, yeah. I'm definitely not afraid to speak my mind, but that's
Mm,
because I think it's important, and these are incredibly turbulent and divisive times, and
mm,
I try to speak out for what's right. You know, I think when things really kind of started to get weird around like 2014, 2015, when I was like
yeah.
noticing people on my friends list like posting about like sincerely believing the earth is flat and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then and then of course everything with the politics and everything. And
Sure.
I used to be angrier, and now I lean heavily on sarcasm and satire to kind of convey my point, and I think it's been a really good outlet for me and like a really good transformation into doing it in a way that isn't just just pissing people off all the
Yeah, yeah.
time.
I do remember you being angrier. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's like very burner of you to lean into snark instead.
Yes, yes, yes. It's like the millennial coming of age arc is just
Yeah.
like turning into a smartass, I guess.
And
It's
please,
everybody's, Gen X
yeah,
kind of did the same thing
yeah.
too.
Brought it first, damn it.
Yeah.
I correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like the public facing sort of brand that you had before was a lot more focused on like music and DJing. And like I
Yeah.
feel like it transitioned a lot more into like this stage of almost like a like TikToker
Yeah.
influencer. Like
So
how did that happen?
what's funny about that is like I was always kind of doing that sort of stuff in like middle
Yeah.
school and high school, and I was always cracking my friends up because I just used like a voice recorder to record fake commercials that just came
Mm,
to me in my head. And I think it was like the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. I was like, you know what? Why not like bridge all of these different things that I've been doing, like music production and video editing. Like I did all the video editing with the remixes for the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia stuff. And
yeah.
like, so I learned how to use Final Cut Pro and started with iMovie and then moved to Vegas Movie Studio. And I was like, I can make the music for this stuff. I can mix the vocal recordings. I can
Mm,
edit the video. I should just do that. I should just do that and create this kind of dystopian satire where I can say what I want in a unique format. And so that's kind of how that transformation took place. And of course I still am producing
yeah.
music and DJing, but now it's like I'm just kind of doing all this different stuff, and it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
What's the difference in the scene between Denver and Austin?
Um, I would say the Austin scene is smaller
Mhm.
as far as the electronic music side of it goes.
Yeah.
We have the Concourse project here, and that's probably the biggest venue. It's like a big warehouse turned EDM venue,
Hmm.
and I saw Marshmello there
Hmm.
not too long, and Above and
Yeah.
Beyond and
Nice.
Sasha and a few others, and it's a really cool venue. But apart from that, it's a lot of like underground stuff. Like I played this tunnel, like this tunnel that was off of the highway, and like it was literally just like three walls of concrete, the ceiling and the walls, and
Mm.
graffiti, and it was cool. Like there was
Hell yeah.
this little ramp that like went from the parking lot that was near it down to this tunnel where we got to DJ. And it had a very hardcore like 90s early 2000s super underground vibe to it. So that was fun.
I love
But yeah,
that so much.
I'd say the scene here is definitely smaller and more underground overall. Like there's a couple clubs
Hmm.
like in the 6th Street area. I like the Coconut Club a lot. I've
Yeah.
heard some really good house music there, but yeah, it's not like Denver was in the early 2000s when I
Mm.
was there, when it was like Beta nightclub was the biggest club in the country and I was playing there all the time and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it's definitely different, but you know, yeah.
I know Austin is like really big on their live music scene, but like I wonder
Yeah.
like what you attribute to Denver having a bigger scene in general.
Yeah, so like the live scene here is really cool. Like
Mm.
the blues and rock you'll hear here is like you go to like Friends Bar is one of my favorite spots down on 6th Street, and you'll walk in there any time of day, on any day of the week, and you'll hear Stevie Ray Vaughan caliber talent. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible, and it's it's given me some opportunities to meet some people and start working towards some collaborations and kind of branching out.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. I'm excited to hear that. I want to
yeah.
I really want to jump to, of course, the reason
The
that we met, which is
the song.
the
Yes, yeah.
song. Yeah. Dude, I did not know until you told me not too long ago. Either we were texting or something, or were we talking? I'm not sure, but oh no, we were
Yeah.
talking, I think, that you actually did make that song on your way to Burning Man.
I did. So I at the time I had a MacBook Pro that I can't remember what it's called where you have Windows installed on a Mac, but
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's Boot Camp or something like, yeah, I think it's Boot Camp,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
where you could boot it up in either the Mac interface or the
Yeah.
the Windows interface. So that's what I was doing. I was bouncing back and forth between using Logic Pro for some stuff and then using FL Studio for other stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was the day before we left for Burning Man. I was like, I've wanted to do this remix of America's Horse with No Name, and
Hmm.
I'd been mulling it over for a while, which is what I kind of tend to do with stuff. I'll like mull it over for like a couple weeks or a couple months,
Yeah.
and then I'll finally do it. So I kind of had the whole thing planned in my head already. But I sat down, I downloaded the song. I think I
Mhm.
downloaded it off of like Amazon or something. Like it was, like it was like an MP3. It wasn't even a wave.
Wow. Wow.
And I downloaded it and I just like imported it into FL and started chopping it up and building my drums and stuff. And then
Mm,
as I was making it, I was like, okay, so it's got this swing. It's got like the 6/8 swing thing going to it.
mhm.
And I was like, I wonder if there's a way that I can like preserve the 6/8 swing during the breakdown and then like switch it back to a 4/4 house beat when the beat drops. And so that's what I
Uh,
did. So I like chopped up the song and repositioned like every little thing so that it would go from the swing during the breakdown to the 4 on the floor rhythm during the drop. And yeah,
that's so great.
and so I was working on it. I got the bulk of it done the night before, and then like we were loaded up in the car and we were on the way to Burning Man, and I was just making little like refinements, and then I like rendered it and started burning it to CDs. I had like a little portable CD burner.
Oh my God.
And yeah, and then I got the opportunity to play it on some of the art cars out there, so that was awesome.
That's so cool. Is it, did you have Burning Man in mind when you're playing around with the song, or was it just, it was like a song you just always wanted to do?
I absolutely had Burning Man in mind. Like no doubt about it.
Uh,
No doubt about it. I was like, this is going to be the song. And like when I remix stuff, I
mm,
sometimes I'll look and I'll be like, okay, has somebody already done like exactly what I want to do?
mm,
So I'll go on YouTube and I'll be like, and sometimes I'm like, oh snap, like somebody already did what I wanted to do, and that's cool. But
right.
sometimes I'll look and I'm like, okay, none of these are like even in the ballpark of what I want. So I guess it's my turn. And so
Yeah.
so that's what I did with Horse with No Name. I looked it up and I was like, okay, it doesn't seem like anybody's done this Jack in House thing that I want to do. So
Yeah, dude, that is so cool. It's
yeah,
it's funny because like when I heard the song, I was like, it was that one, another track that you had sent as well,
yeah,
and I was kind of like playing with it. I was like, man, I think this is it.
yeah.
And I don't remember. I had some hesitation. This was 10
Hmm.
years ago, so I can't remember. But I can't remember
Yeah,
what it was. And then I remember it just felt so fucking good. And then,
yeah,
listening to it for 10 years and like it's, such a thing for like the regular listeners, like they're really connected to like the excitement that they start to feel that this episode of the podcast is about to start. And all
yeah.
these years, I didn't know that was the original intention of the song. That's fucking great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was 100% Burning Man geared.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so psyched about that. What
Yeah, man.
let's what are you working on next? Anything you wanna share with the world?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a song coming out tomorrow
Oh wow.
um on Dissident Music, which is Noel Sanger's label. He's
Mm.
releasing a compilation called Dissident Miami 2025, which he always releases around the um Winter Music Conference, I think it is, that happens in
Okay.
Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's releasing Dissident 2025 tomorrow, and it has this song that I did with this vocalist named Adrienne Grady, who I've
Mm.
been working with a lot, because her voice is like, it's like what I always wanted. Like it's got
Mm.
that like, it has this warmth and clarity. It kind of reminds me of like what I loved so much about Kirsty Hawkshaw back in the day in
Oh
BT's
yeah.
tracks,
Yeah.
like where it's just very like evocative. And so we did this song called Wander,
Mm.
and we'd been working on it for several weeks, and we spent a bunch of time working on the lyrics because it has this like almost like Norse mythology kind of like cold feeling to it.
Mm.
And I think the reason for that is because I started the instrumental when I was watching the Dexter finale with my girlfriend, and like
Yeah.
when he gets like shot in the snow at the end,
Mm.
and so I was kind of like messing around with this like
Spoiler alert.
cool, yeah, oh yeah, my bad.
Sorry.
Well, it's all right. I think they're now doing. They're adding on to it now, so it's
Yeah.
not actually that
All
much of a
right.
spoiler. But yeah, and like it has this kind of like cold, kind of eerie feeling at the beginning, and it's just this
Mm.
pluck sound that I made in Serum,
Mm.
and I was sitting on the instrument. And the instrumental, and I'd been playing around with vocal ideas, and then she came over and she visited and she stayed for a while, and I was like, like I think I could sing this, but I think it would be more impactful to have your voice. And
Yeah.
so she took the lyrics that I'd kind of initially started with and expanded upon them, and we refined them together, and we ended up with this song called Wander that's like all about, it's like it paints this image of being alone in the
Mm.
mountains, in the cold Rocky Mountains or something, with like stars above you, and like it has a lot of very vivid language. But anyway, when
Yeah.
I finished it and I sent it to Noel, he was like, "We need to put this out immediately." And I was
Mm.
like, "I'm so glad you like it." He's like, "It's amazing. We need to put it out like immediately." So it's coming out on tomorrow, the 28th,
Rad.
on Dissident Music. It's going to be on Beatport and Track Source and
Yeah.
everything. And I'm really excited for people to hear it because we're really proud of it. And this is like a sneak peek, and then it's going to have a full release with like remixes and stuff probably in the fall.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
and so I think we're going to try and do some kind of music video for it in between that time.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And
I'm
there's
psyched about
there's a
it.
lot of
We should
thanks,
definitely
man.
we should play it on the out of this chat.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
shoot it over to you
Yeah.
as
So
soon
you
as
might be
we're
hearing
done
it.
talking.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
listeners might be listening. You're listening to it right now in the background.
Yeah, there you go.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
really appreciate how you paint like the story and the emotions around
Mhm.
the music that you're producing, because I can tell you, like, I've been doing this for like 13, 14 years,
Yeah.
and I've interviewed a lot of producers and musicians, and
Mhm.
sometimes you sit down and I'm just like, it's like trying to like pull teeth trying to get them to tell me like why they made decisions, and like you've got like so
Yeah.
much thought behind all of it. And
Yeah.
seriously, it's very like, for geeks like me and for the kind of people that listen to this podcast, it's fucking the bee's knees, so thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
no worries. So like when I'm making music, so I'll go through like, I don't even know, like hundreds of project files where I'm just like lukewarm about it. I just have piles and piles of stuff that will probably never see the light of day,
Yeah.
because I don't finish a track until I'm like, okay, this makes me feel something, or like,
Mm.
holy, like there's like this holy shit moment, like that's it, like this is something that's different, or this is something that really conveys the emotion that I'm trying to express. It's really not like it's formulaic in the sense that I'm doing a bunch of different stuff and seeing what works, but it's not formulaic in the sense that I don't finish something until I'm like, okay, this is something like this is something from the heart, you know, like
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be sincere. And
Yeah.
that's not necessarily the case with like the parody stuff I do. That's just like whatever. I want to
Yeah.
make like
Yeah.
I want to make like some ridiculous 80s, you know, over the top with big synthwave snares, and you know, like that's
Yeah.
more just me like playing around. But like when it comes to my dance music,
Yeah.
I try to make it really sincere and authentic.
Dude, and it needs that. It needs that because
Yeah.
there's a lot of fast food dance music out there. So
There's
like that's
so much. I mean, in all honesty, I listen to some of the top stuff and I'm like, wait, what? Really? Like,
Yeah.
really? You know, like
Yeah.
I don't get it, but you know, I feel like maybe that's just a part of getting older.
They're I mean they're churning them out like content, you know, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
different.
yeah.
You're making art, and
Yeah.
it's a journey, it's an experience, and you know anybody who's listened to the show and has listened to that song, like it is an entire journey that you're going through, and that's
Yeah.
not an easy thing to do with dance music sometimes.
Yeah. Like I could never get into the mindset of making a product for the sake of making a product, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was just never able to turn myself into that. And you know,
I hear
respect
ya.
to people who can do it and can succeed at it and can make really good songs, but it's just not me. It's not, you know, punching a card, you know.
Yeah. Dude, I'm with you. I'm envious
Yeah.
of people who can do that with content.
Yeah, like
I
for
can't-
real. And that's why it's like I'll go, you know, like a week, 2 weeks, a month, maybe more without posting anything, because when I post something, I'm like, I want this to be me expressing something that I really feel like needs to be expressed. So
Yeah.
even though all the content is ridiculous and satirical and over the top, it's also like I really want to make a point when I make something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Dude,
Yeah.
Joey, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for the song.
Yeah, no worries, man.
On-
Thank you for appreciating it.
Oh my God, no. On behalf of all the listeners that have felt the chills every time they've heard it, thank you. Thanks for everything. Thanks for this conversation.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah, and you ever pop out to Vegas, make sure you hit me up, and I'd love to see you again at some time.
I absolutely will, man. I mean, I got to get out to the burn again here soon. It's been too long.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. maybe I'll try to make it this year.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, well, I might. Hey, all right, maybe I'll just keep pushing you on that one then.
So I wonder, find myself along the way. So I wonder, I can't be further led astray. So I wonder, find myself along the way. So I wonder, I can't be further led astray. I think I'm out of oxytocin, turning wild and ferocious and ready to strike. Isolated in the open, chasing footprints.